That should work. Bit of technical difficulties this morning. There we go. And we should be up here any second. Hope everyone can hear me. Alright, good morning everybody. Welcome to ChrisKonkleVlogs Sunday morning live stream. Today we're talking about Komatsu and their self-driving or the autonomous construction vehicles. There's a lot of cool stuff that they have in development and actually active right now in the mining sector. Right, it's pretty crazy cool stuff. So yeah, I wanted to just kind of group it all together, and last week we talked about the LiDAR imaging, which is kind of how these things are going to be driving. And 1 second here. Yeah, good morning. Good morning, King. Good morning, Christina, your real estate whisperer. How are you guys? Oh, not too much, you know, just doing my weekly stream. Yeah, just I found some pretty neat stuff, and there's actually going to be some pretty cool stuff coming out with the autonomous construction vehicles, right? The last week when we were going over the LiDAR imaging, that's what they're using to scan the sites and steer the vehicles, right? It's pretty cool. These are actually a combination of both, really. Like the augmented reality, the vision, that LiDAR vision, plus, oh, thank you. It was definitely a hard tribute to do. It took, yeah, it was actually the whole service. It was really beautiful for him. It went really well, and yeah, it was nice. The family just kind of, you know, got together and we just, you know, just pulled it off, right? It was yeah, it was something you definitely don't want to be planning or doing. It's yeah, it was crazy, hey. But thank you though. Thanks for that. I saw the one on the puppy too. That was so cute. It's so hard, right? Like saying it's the kids how they don't really get it, right? Especially my 4- and 2-year-old, right? So yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. So, but yeah, yeah, I actually, I don't know if you guys wrote, pardon me, I wrote some stuff in the text there before, just in the chat there. I was, I guess, you know, when you kind of start something, you don't really know why you're doing it, you're just doing it, right? But I think I figured it out. I didn't come across anything very easily in my life. Like I always did it the hard way. Yeah, and but I just never gave up, and you know, I, you know, worked through a lot of problems, and I think what I'm trying to do here is just kind of be there to help people, you know, like the next generation or anybody, you know, just get out of the rut they might be in. And construction is awesome. Like it'll give anybody a shot, right? Anybody can have a chance at it. And really, if you show up and work, you can benefit huge, right? Like they'll pay for your education. You'll get benefits. You'll get, you know, you'll work your way up and make some really good money. And if you apply yourself, you don't necessarily have to be on the tools your whole career either, right? Because there's no ceiling in construction, right? You work your way through the ranks in the field. You can get into the office, and they pay for everything. They'll pay for all your project management courses. They'll pay for all your trade training, all your safety training. They'll pay for everything, right? If you just do it right, if you know how to you know, work for the right kind of company and do, you know, follow the right steps and all that. For me, it was really just like putting my head down and barreling through it. But and I made it was a lot of trial and error, right? Traditionally, I have operated a 240, and that was I was just scraping for a 325. But yeah, I've operated the Hitachi. But I mainly operate like skid steers and stuff like in like aerial work platforms and stuff like that. Swing stages, we build things off of swing stages. Tower crane. I did operate tower crane and mobile crane. I was trying to be a crane operator, but I was a rigger for probably I did about 3,000 straight hours rigging, and I just found it like it was downtown, huge high rise. It was just like pedestrian and car city, right? It was really intense and exciting and stressful. But when I got into the actual seat, I can't sit down. I can't sit down for long. I have to be moving all the time. So I actually just hated being in the seat. It was just like, you know, especially the tower crane, it's just like a little joystick, right? And there's no controls. There's two joysticks and that's it. So, and you're not climbing. There's no bathroom on board, and you know you got to climb like 2-3 stories up to the cab, and it's not very comfortable up there. So I went back and actually finished my carpentry apprenticeship instead, and yeah. But yeah, so it's fun operating, but you got to think, if you know you're sitting in it, you're sitting in a seat the whole time, right? So it makes for a long 8 hours or 10 hours, right? So a lot of these guys are seasonal, so they're pushing, you know, 10 to 12 hour day shifts, and that's seat time, right? You come out for 2 15-minute breaks and a half-hour break. Yeah, it's that's a long day, right? So, but yeah, so anyways, let's back. Okay, pardon me again. What I found is Komatsu is the leading equipment manufacturer for the autonomous vehicle line. They got dozers, they got excavators, and they got the haulers, right? So here's the excavator, and this is a hauler right here. This is probably being driven by a human, and this is probably autonomous, right? So this, let me see what. I don't know. There's quite a lot of information. So this is talking about you know, some legislation things. It's obviously coming quick because, yeah, Caterpillar isn't actually. Komatsu is. Caterpillar is actually putting their technology into Komatsu machines. That's how that's working. So they don't. I don't think, because like, the idea is there's not too much room. Like there'll be like any company can really get going, and everything. It's gonna be quite competitive, right? But right now, there's something about Caterpillar right here, right? So I know the Caterpillar trucks. So this is really interesting, right? So these heavy haulers, I'm gonna show you a little video. But to have a 20% boost in productivity and save 15%, this actually say 50%. So it's actually, that's not very well said. So 20% boost in productivity, but 15% savings in wages, like wage costs, right? So that would be direct costs, right? And there's actually another stat. It's like 40% more life out of the tires, which is really cool because you know, they don't speed quick or accelerate quick, and they don't stop quick, right? So the tires are showing 40% more lifetime, right? Which is really, really cool. That's the what I wanted to point out actually in this page was the percentages. It's just really neat, right? If we go to, yeah, see, here's a picture of, this is one of the mines in Australia. It's an iron ore mine, and yeah, these trucks have been running for, they have 75 now, 75 trucks that are autonomous, which is really wild, right? So 73, they're called Titans, right? So yeah, they're going 24 hours a day. They only have to stop for fuel. They don't stop for breaks or lunch or nothing, right? So it's the thing is like these conditions are prime, right? Like the paths, the tracks, like they're really in good condition. So you can tell that, and it's Australia, right? So these machines aren't capable of adjusting to like rain, snow, right? The rain, mud, and snowy conditions and stuff like that, right? They operate on just like it's like a track, almost a smooth grade, which is it's not fair to compare their conditions to the conditions that human drivers deal with, right? So yeah, they're more productive, but if you're to give human operators the same operating conditions, chances are, like it'd be more fair, right? It'd be fair to judge based on that, right? Yeah, it's pretty wild. The size of it. I don't know if you guys I've been up to the mines up north, and this, like, the truck's the size of a small 2-story house is an understatement. Like, I think when the bucket is completely up, it's like 60 feet in the air, right? That's crazy. They're massive, and they're fast. Like, these guys are hauling butt. So oh, Liam, hey guy, it's a vlogging channel. I do a lot of different stuff on construction and other things. Every Sunday I do a live stream on a different construction technology. So yeah, I do cover equipment usually on my Sunday live streams. So yeah. Last week we went over something called LiDAR imaging. Before that we were going over the drones in construction, and we've covered augmented and virtual reality and BIM technology in construction. And right now we're just going over the autonomous vehicles, right? So the Komatsu is the leader right now, and I'm sure the rest of them are going to catch up really quick. So stay away from the beef, yeah. Right on. No, that's good to see you. If definitely good to see new people. Yeah, this is some cool stuff. Like, where are we? I put all the links down in the description too of the video. So any of the pages that oh, thanks, man, appreciate that big time. All the links, like I research the topic, and then I pick out the best stuff I find throughout the week, and I publish all the links that I go over down in the description. So I don't really just cover every article, so people can just go in at their leisure and just check it out, right? I got some pretty cool tools for researching online and stuff, so I kind of weed out all the junk and get right to the beef, right? But yeah, so this video actually demonstrates the haulers. I'm not going to show the whole thing, just a little bit. It's only music, so I will mute it. But yeah, check it out. This is the mine, I believe. Like, this is like a rendering, but I think it's a mine in Australia or whatnot. But so they don't have a cab anymore, right? So what's guiding it is, this is GPNS or something, but it's the global positioning device, right? And this is neat. If you could imagine, so these things are stopping only for fuel, right? But if they're running on power, the wheels can generate power to run the equipment, right? So then they never have to stop, right? It's pretty neat stuff. The loaders, these loaders, like in real life, these machines they're massive. Like, they're so big, right? Right on. um, I've seen like big ones that I swear can load a whole loader with one scoop. Like there's bigger ones than this. They're massive, absolutely massive. The mines up north, like the oil sands, are they're pretty nasty sites. I would like the like the pollution that they produce is like, it's crazy. Like the stacks are going 24/7, right? 365, and they're pumping. You'd have to see it to believe it. Like it's this crazy amount of pollution. And so any way that we can reduce emissions, I mean, I'm all for that, right? So these self-driving electric haulers, you know, that's a positive step in the right direction, right? So the idea is really neat. So they don't have a front and rear, but you do see that the bucket does dip in one direction, right? So, but they just drive. There's no need to have that extra space to turn around. So that saves a lot of time, right? Because every second adds up over the year, and yeah. So and plus the loads are, I think they're like 50 tons more than normal haulers because of the weight distribution on the tires now. Yeah, they're the great for the elderly. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's kind of thinking about that, right? Like my grandmother, who's like 85, she still drives, but I know my grandfather, he couldn't, the last 4 or 5 years couldn't drive. So he was at home a lot more than he normally would be, right? Maybe, Liam, maybe. You know what? That's a good question. I wouldn't know. Because in construction we don't really use these haulers. These are for mining right now. So the last time I was up on an oil field was probably 8 or 9 years ago. So so they could very well be. Oh yeah, yeah. My grandmother had to drive him around. But could you imagine? That would be really helpful to get him out. It would get people out of the house. But Uber is coming out with self-driving vehicles too, right? So which is crazy, right? But I get it, kind of being on your own and driving. Like it's cool. It's really cool stuff. It's really cool stuff. So, but yeah, as far as the check, this is what it looks like, in real life, right? There's no cab. It's really neat. So it can carry more weight because there's no cab, and the weight distribution on the wheels is, it just allows for a heavier load, right? So it's really cool. What did I pick out on this one here? So yeah, here we go. The self-driving trucks can operate 24 hours a day, stopping only for fuel, and their tires even last 40% longer by avoiding the sudden acceleration and abrupt steering caused by human driver error. Yeah, so 5 million a piece for these trucks, 5 million a piece, but that doesn't include any of the like sensors or GPS things and like the software and all that stuff, right? So and then here you go. Here's a truck driver, right? It's 2 different running conditions, and we're constantly stressing. Give us, the truck drivers, the same condition, and give us some opportunities. We can show you how productive our workforce can be, right? So, you know what? I think it is, Liam. It's the I haven't seen, like, I was looking at the cats and the who else is doing them? I think it's I know Caterpillar's doing them. Komatsu, I want to say Hyundai, but I don't think that would be right. I know Hyundai's got the excavators. But yeah, 250 tons. That's or sorry, look at this here, a 400 ton. It's 400 tons, so that's right. That makes sense. That's a lot. That's a big. I think that's even more than I thought. Aren't these ones like 250? And then these are 400. Does that sound right? But so yeah. Oh, there's all this talk about the jobs, right? Always about when the people start talking about this kind of stuff, right? So this actual article, yeah, is I think this is the one about Suncor, the oil mines. Actually, yeah, the oil mines or the oil fields up north are have like 7 of these trucks. They announced that they're going to be laying off 400 positions, 500 in total, but they're going to create 100 jobs. So the difference is 400 positions. So starting next year, so it's. They do, King. Yes, they do. Absolutely. So, yes, thank you for reminding me that they do, and that's the neat thing is they're not on site. Obviously, they could be like anywhere that way, right? Because they just control them over the internet, right? And so yeah, there is control command centers. So what happens is we know that the drones they take the images of the site and then they 3D CAD it, and then they administer actions and controls to the equipment based on the 3D CADs. It's sort of like how the Air Force has a guy in Nevada. Oh, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, a guy in Nevada flying a drone in Iraq is exactly like that. Yeah, so they call them UAVs. Same thing here, unmanned, or yeah, aerial vehicles or whatever. The same thing, same idea. Yeah. You can be anywhere in the world controlling from to any point. It's just which is really neat, right? The first company locally here in Edmonton that I seen do this, which was a long time ago, was Keystone Excavating, and they have a command center. They still have operators in the equipment. They just based on those 3D CADs, and then of course when they set the right blade elevations. Right, so there's more precision and quicker. There's a quicker learning curve, and they're more efficient than even a novice operator would be. Right, so yeah, it's just the idea. I think on a construction site itself, I would see it being a very long time before there isn't a human in it. Not operating, but at least in there for some kind of safety reason, right? I can see that taking a very, very long time in construction to eliminate that part of it. Right now, yeah, they're using GPS and and then sensors to set like blade elevations and stuff like that for grading, and that was a long time ago when I saw this promotional video from Keystone here. It was really neat. But yeah, so these things are up north right now at Suncor. The jobs, like, I mean, kids nowadays are growing up playing video games and controlling things with joysticks anyways, so the jobs that will be available, so that's the thing. Like, they have their I don't know how, but they do have yeah, there's the ones that we have, like, say, for our car or on our phone and stuff like that. I think we're at the mercy of like some like people have to, because I know I've seen the engineers, they come out and they GPS mark everything physically. They come out and mark everything, so it takes time. They do, yes, they do, Liam, and that's that is what is called, like, those sensors use LiDAR imaging, which map everything. It uses light to like a laser, and it reflects, like it gives you a whole, like a 3D dimension of the whole surroundings, and you can move your view like you were actually flying something around, but the camera's just in one spot, right? It's really cool stuff. Yeah, use Google Maps, GPS. No. So yeah, right now we're at the mercy of those engineers uploading the data to the, and then whoever, like city and whatever, however that's legislated, getting it to Google Maps and onto the GPS, right? Dan, good morning, Dan. How's it going? Right on. So yeah, but whereas these use 3D CAD models, right? So GPS, yes, but they have a model of the whole entire site, and that's how the trucks operate just on site, right? So you're not, it's real time, because even as they grade or build whatever, now it's all that data is being relayed back to the model, the 3D CAD model, and updating real time. So the trucks and equipment, they know exactly what's going on. It's on site itself, right? So it's they don't necessarily use it's a combination, right? So the drones and all that will use actual GPS, and then the machinery themselves will be using the CAD model, right? So that's the augmented intelligence, right? Which they've coined artificial intelligence, but it's not really artificial intelligence, as we've learned, right? So yeah, that's how that works. So it's pretty cool stuff. I think over the next decade we'll be seeing some really big changes. This year, talking about legislation, this page here. And yeah, the truckers, of course, aren't going to be happy, but like it's like, you know, I think that, yeah, people are just going to have to be retrained and stuff, right? So just to do different jobs, that's all. This is the NVIDIA is the one who's processing these chips, right? These GPUs, so that's graphical processing unit, which I might actually cover. I might cover that, or next stream. Like, this is a little, the Tegra processors that NVIDIA are making for, that's what's processing the images, right? That's what processes and gives you that augmented vision, like whatever, right? So it's pretty cool. And then Skycatch right here is the type of drones, right? What they're mapping, how they're mapping the sites. You can see the green here, right? So yeah, they just take the data. You got some pretty cool stuff, right? So that's how they're operating. Yeah, the Tesla, yep, the self-driving car, kind of exactly what they use is that that LiDAR camera, that imaging. That's exactly what the Tesla uses to operate. These are like different, I think, than that, but this is how they're mapping out sites, right? That LiDAR is so advanced. It's amazing technology. It's been around forever, I guess, but yeah, yeah, it's getting highly advanced, right? And I like where it's all going. This is the Komatsu line of dozers that uses the intelligent machine control, like what we were talking about. That's where they're at right now today. So there's still an operator. It just controls the blade, right? The blades. It doesn't drive it. It just controls the blade depth. So for grading, that's all. So but yeah, these are some big dozers. I think the D6, that's a big boy right there. we use these a lot, the D6 dozers. I drove one of these once. It was kind of fun, actually. They're really neat. But yeah, so yeah, I think that I wish I could remember who else was in the game, but yeah, Caterpillar and Komatsu are definitely the big ones in the industry, right? yeah, this right here talks about the drones and legislation and stuff like that, right? So someone monitors the work from the job site, trailer, or even back at the office 50 miles away. So yeah, right, they're looking for safety and accuracy, right? So there's a huge labor shortage in construction. It's no secret. Like, there's a 60% decline in people who want to get their hands dirty, right? So they have to come out with this technology, right? They just have to. Construction has gotten so inflated. It's just costs so much, right? Yeah, it's just crazy. It's out of control. So they got to reel that back in, because owners are paying a lot of money, and in a lot of these big builds now with the new P3 contracts and stuff like that, the taxpayers, like, we're paying for it now, right? So yeah, it's things have to change. It's definitely got to be more efficient, more productive in some ways here, right? Komatsu. So here, I think this guy, yeah. So this is the intelligent machine control, right? So that came out in 2013. Fully automatic blade control. So all based on those CAD models, right? The 3 CAD models. So, and then here's Caterpillar. Case. There he is. That's the one. Yeah, Case and Volvo. Yeah, there you go. Those are a couple of other big companies, right? So you'll see, not too far away, they'll all be at the same level. Komatsu's at, they were just a little more to the punch, right? So it was they're just, yeah, they got a big deal with that mine in Australia. So, absolutely. So there was 10,000 equipment related injuries in the States last year, right? So who is that mine now? Jeepers! If I could just get Rio Tinto. That's the mining company. So they moved 400 billion tons of dirt with 0 incidents, right? 0 incidents. That's really good, right? Yeah, good, very good point. That's what's really interesting. So we do know that they're the tech companies, like, who develop the software for this kind of stuff. It's all cloud based. So and then they have their own tech, right? So on site, so the sensors on site, or the relays, whatever they have, they have them on the machines, on the sites. So sure, they have their own satellites. So they don't put any of the software on locally onto the company's servers, right? It's all cloud based stuff. So they can control that, right? And I'm sure they're on top of the latency thing. But that's an interesting question, and something interesting. I'm going to actually just write that down so I don't forget, because I want to look further into that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, latency. So that could be a concern for sure. Right. That's right. Yeah, some kind of towers. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Who knows what they have going on right now, or planned, right? Because that's a valid question. I would be concerned about that a little bit, but the safety, you can see, right? Because these tracks are mint mint conditions for driving on, right? So that's what the big question is, right? So what if it's muddy? What if it's snowy and icy, right? Can it tell the difference between a human obstacle and like a non-human obstacle, right? Like an object, right? Can they tell that difference? So they can technically, right? Because of the heat signature that they use for you know, in that imaging. So they do use and also too, they can see moving objects, right? And they map the moving objects in real time out. So like what's to say that it's a piece of material blowing or a human walking by or something, right? They do. It's the same route over and over again. It only works for the repetitive motions, right? So there's still a lot of those in construction on a construction site, but in my opinion, like the site conditions are always changing, continuously changing, and people are coming and going, and there's a lot of things going on a construction site, whereas this is just straight go back and forth, right? So you know, we're still a ways away, I think, from putting it onto an actual construction site, and I don't think we're anywhere near having like fully autonomous vehicles on a site, right? I don't think I think we're far away. I just don't see the safety legislation allowing that to be on site without like super fully developed technology and software, right? That's definitely not going to happen soon. But oh, hey, is that Vince there, or VCG Construction? Good stuff. How's it going today? Yeah, I do. I see it's going to be a while, because yeah, the site conditions are always changing, right? But the drones will self drive. There's other stuff that will self-drive, like there's 3D printing technology that's coming, and the drones are, you know, they'll self-drive, but they're little, the printers are more stationary, and then the drones are up above people, so it's not as high of a safety concern as a dump truck or a dozer on site driving itself, right? So good stuff. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, buddy. That's super cool. We're just talking about self-driving construction equipment. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. I would see it being fairly useful, but I think this part of it is a long ways away. There'll be a man or a woman in the cockpit for sure for a long time to come, right? But yeah, that's some cool stuff. So yeah, I did a search on autonomous vehicles on YouTube, and like, look at this Volvo. That's a rock truck. It's yeah, it's driving itself. But this is the guy that I was trying to talk about. This guy here, something Norman Reddy Norman Reddy something or whatever. He used to work for Google. Noah Reddy Campbell, yeah. He built this skid steer that drives itself. It's fully autonomous, right? Autonomous, sorry. And it's really cool. Like I could see that because it's smaller, you know, being a thing. But there'd have to be a control zone, like a red taped off area that it would operate in, and you wouldn't allow any humans to be inside that red tape while it's operating, right? So it could limit access to the site, is what I'm saying. But yeah, there's a few things out, not too much. Agricultural, obviously, but that's like, again, it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's not a human factor, like a safety factor that you have to really worry about. And then of course, same thing with the mining. It's the same track, up and down. So they drive forward and backwards, and then the dump one way, right? Yeah, there's gonna there's gonna be some pretty neat stuff. This is a concept video. I'm gonna mute it too. It's only music. We'll just run it in the background there. But the stuff that these concepts are pretty neat, right? But yeah, showing you the sensors. So you know, yeah, that's yeah. The mining trucks are 5 million a piece, but that doesn't include the software or any of the sensors like the site sensors or, you know, relays or anything like that, right? But with that much time, yeah, definitely 400 tons in those big haulers, and that's a lot of weight. But yeah, they don't have anybody in them. But on a construction site, 100%, I would want a human operator, or at least fail safe. Exactly. And that's the thing. I don't see any of the legislation allowing these machines to operate without a human inside the machine. Because yeah, I still, they can make the AI that, so the artificial intelligence react to landslides or washouts. Yeah, it would be, in fact, interesting to see that. So there definitely is no such thing as artificial intelligence, and that artificial intelligence itself is a long ways away, and may never happen. But the correct term for it is augmented intelligence, right? Or deep machine learning. And you're absolutely right. Without being, like, how do they handle that real time? Like, as soon as something changes, like, yeah, like, you know, it's crazy. There's a lot of things that can go wrong on a site, and the conditions change day to day. Like, oh man, like, it's crazy. Like, you could get a few days of rain and it'll just so dramatically change the site conditions, right? Like yeah, I don't see that tech coming around anytime soon. But yeah, like, to make it fair, I guess we'd say these machines will be good for the like controlled areas. It'd still have to be yeah, in a controlled area of some sort. It won't have free reign for a very long time, because of those reasons, right? So yeah, they're pretty, it's pretty neat though. I mean, 20 years from now, right? Like, who knows, right? 20 to 50 years from now, yeah, like, really, who knows what can happen. But I definitely think that it's going to change. Yeah, I absolutely agree. It would definitely suck to lose a machine that value to something a human could have prevented. But it would suck even more if a human was lost in the same incident, right? So it's maybe a catch-22. I don't know, but it's I think though, like, we're thinking too far ahead with this tech, because what we've seen with the 3D printing technology alone, and how it can use the ground for materials, and even the atmosphere for materials, right? Like, it might, I think we'll be seeing different types of machinery coming out than the traditional types, right? So that's where my eye is with I think smaller machines that, you know, will do little jobs, and yeah, like, it's going to be interesting for sure to see. But yeah, there'll be stuff in the air, the drones will be flying around, and all the machines on the ground. But yeah, like, we're thinking on just ground right now. Like, this is just groundwork, right? But there's that's not even half the job. Like, you got to build above ground, right? Yeah, that's right. You know, that's, and I don't think, I mean, I don't think we can trust a robot to, for that critical type of thinking, like on the fly thinking. Like, a lot of times, like, I've saved my own life just based on reflexes alone, right? Because, you know, we're human, we can think, and we've been, you know, we have like that, what, you know, I'm going to refer to like muscle memory type of thing, like that body memory that machines would never have, right? And then I always have the argument, like, I don't think that I don't see a robot being able to create art, like come up with its own ideas, right? I just don't see that, right? So I think we're still basically telling it what to do based on whether it's automated or not. We're still the ones in charge, and we're the ones who fully control the robots, or whatever, right? So they don't think for themselves, not even close. We just use technology and mash it all together so that we can like automate processes and reduce like a lot of times we're in our problem solving, like, think of a long math equation, right? So instead of us taking the time to do that, we just program a formula into a machine, and then it reduces that time. That's it, right? So they're not thinking. They're definitely not thinking, but they're reacting, and that's just exactly, that's right. That's absolutely right, Vince. Yeah, they don't have that ability. So yeah, right. Yeah, I do. I remember that. I do. There's some, I definitely remember that. Let's just skip that. There's just couple dudes actually on my channel there that just keep leaving me messages about 3D printing, and they're so confident that the technology is ready for construction, but it's not. We know that the legislation has a long way to go, right? Because we have building codes that you know, when you introduce new materials and new processes, you gotta, all that has to be you know, worked into the legislation, into the codes, right? So it's got to be fully tested. We're talking about public safety here. It's a long process, right? Like, and because everyone's all over the map and competing, instead of if you really don't know what the 3D printing is, you just go back to, I did a stream on it, and then I covered it, and there's tons of links in that video description too. It's if you're more interested, I'm sure you know what it is, but but if you do want to look into it in detail, I did do a stream on it, and of course there's all those links in the descriptions, right? So Eddie, good morning. Nice to have you in. But yeah, so yeah, none of this stuff is gonna take away jobs. It's everything changes, right? Everything changes, and we're definitely the speed of it, right? So it's not gonna take over so quickly, right, that it's gonna take away jobs. People are gonna be retrained. They're gonna be doing different things, right? Like these machines and robots and equipment, all that, create more jobs than they take away. There's more industries that start up, right? So if it just all of a sudden, boom, everything's autonomous, everything's 3D printed, yeah, okay, sure, there'll be a lot of job loss, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time to get these things into the field, right? Like, especially with construction, we're the last people to adopt anything new, and a big part of that is the safety and the legislation, and we're highly segmented, right? So like, you know how segmented we are, right? Like there's just so many contracts and people and firms and companies all involved in one single project, right? Like it's very complex. So yeah, I would never worry about technology taking over jobs, not at least in construction. Because yeah, it takes a long time. So people it's just going to shift. That's all. And you know, like I said, we have such a shortage in construction. This is going to be huge, huge for us, I think. So, but yeah, it's pretty neat stuff. So I think next week I might go into something. Yeah, I know. I get it. I think the it's the repetitive stuff though, right? Like I know for myself, right? Like it's screwing off my sheets, for example, right? Like how many sheets of drywall have I screwed off in my lifetime? Like, and it's the same thing in the same spot every single time, right? Like if I could automate that, man, I'd be all over it, right? And then I'd be free to do more creative stuff, right? So that's you know, that's why I kind of stand on that, right? But yeah, I get it. I you know what, tiling, and yeah, I guess it all depends what you like to do, because I enjoy tiling, for example, right? And I would just, that's like my favorite thing in the world to do. And every job I've done, the owners let me do the design, so like I have a blast at it. And yeah, like, but that's creative, right? And then, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I played outside as a kid, right? I didn't have computers or television when I was a kid. I was outside in the dirt, right? So I love getting dirty, right? But you know, with me myself, my construction career is coming to an end, and that's just because of my injuries are so bad. Like I don't know how much longer I can do it, right? and my injuries are because of repetitive motion. And you know, that sucks, because if I could, I would be in the field forever. I tried being a project manager and estimator and all this stuff. I worked for big companies in the offices, and I hated it. I wanted to be outside in the dirt. And the problem is I can't, right? I can't do it forever, and until I get, like, you know, robotic arms or something like that. But yeah, you know, it sucks, because I honestly, I just don't like working in an office, period. And just different people and different like politics and crazy stuff, right? So buy a robot to replace Nick, oh no. No, you can never replace a guy though with a machine, that's for sure. There's no argument there. Yeah, definitely couldn't do it. But yeah, so it's cool. Like if you guys, like I said before, like all the links are down in the descriptions. And yeah, I think next week I might go over to the processors and some other stuff. But yeah, it would be cool. Nice to see a new face, Liam, in the chat. Good to see you. And King and Christina, your Real Estate Whisperer, and VCG, Construction Vince. I'm sure that's you there. So and Eddie. Nice to see everybody today, and I really appreciate everyone showing up. I'm gonna sign off right now. That was the autonomous. Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's definitely different. So, yeah, but I also think that the actual equipment that we use, it's going to change, I'm sure. Like, we're going to be seeing different kinds of machines and equipment too. Sling the beef sandwiches. Yeah, send money now, tools are in the mail, right? That's awesome, guys. It was fun today. Okay, so I think Christina is going live at noon again. I'm sure it's Sunday, so I'll see you guys over there. And oh, okay, no problem. I won't sign off. We're good. we can hang out as long as you want. No problem. I think we have to give her some time before her stream, though. So we got some time. No, seriously, guys, it was awesome to have you guys in today. And yeah, we'll see you next Sunday, same time, same bat time, same bat place. And yeah, have a good day, everybody.